Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse, and in this segment I wanted to talk about the diseases that I anticipate will explode when the poop hits the fan. And I'm going to go ahead and enumerate them for you, and then we're going to go ahead and expand upon them after we enumerate them. The first one is tuberculosis. The second one is hepatitis A. The third one is cholera, the fourth is typhoid, and the fifth is a general lumping together of all upper respiratory infections combined. So let's start first with tuberculosis. And really, with any of these diseases that I'm going to talk about here today, the factors that I have accounted for in including them are the following: poor sanitation, cramped living conditions, and poor nutrition along with vitamin deficiencies. Okay, I haven't in particular read a book that's told me these things. I haven't really, the way that I've come about these things in my mind is basically doing medical work in third world countries and being a student of history. So we'll go ahead and we'll charge forth here. First one is tuberculosis. And with tuberculosis, the risk factors here are going to be anybody who has chronic disease, like renal disease, AIDS, anything really that puts that person's immunity at a lower state of readiness. This includes vitamin deficiencies and poor living conditions, including poor ventilation. Also, low body weight. All of these things are risk factors for contracting tuberculosis. And especially, I think what is already a factor right now in America, but what's really going to be a problem is drug-resistant tuberculosis. And one of the main contributing reasons why we are having drug-resistant tuberculosis make a resurgence in this country is, and it's not going to be politically correct, it's all these illegals coming across the border from Central America and Mexico. Okay? I don't care if you think I'm a racist. I've done home health care extensively with this population, and I'm telling you, when you have 30 people living in a house that's coded for 6, you're going to have problems, and you're going to have the propagation of disease. That is a fact. And these particular people, as an aggregate, are doing really more to expand tuberculosis in this country than anything else. So, there you have it. And really, as far as the treatment of tuberculosis goes, it's going to be really, really hard, because the drugs that we use to treat tuberculosis now they have a lot of side effects, they have a lot of toxicity issues, and they take a very, very long time to treat tuberculosis, and we're not really good at it now. And these drugs that we use now are typically isoniazid and rifampin. And like I said, they got a lot of toxicity issues with that. Really, the best way to deal with tuberculosis is to prevent it. Number one way to prevent tuberculosis is adequate nutrition with, here's your key, vitamin D. Vitamin D, vitamin D, vitamin D. That right there will prevent your tuberculosis. Also, living in a space where you have adequate ventilation. That's going to be huge. Okay, so tuberculosis. 2 is hepatitis A. And we're already dealing with hepatitis A to an extent. I don't know if you remember this, but way back, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we had an outbreak in this country, especially of hepatitis A, due to contaminated green onions that came from a farm, I believe it was in Mexico. But hepatitis A is propagated through poor sanitation, and it's spread through the fecal-oral route, meaning that somebody with contaminated diarrhea or with contaminated feces, for whatever reason, you end up ingesting that one way or another. It could be they go to the bathroom, don't wash their hands, and serve you food, and then you ingest it, and ingest as a byproduct their contaminated, the bacteria, or excuse me, the viruses from their feces. So, and that's hepatitis A. As far as treatment for hepatitis A, there's not anything currently that I'm aware of. This is just Little Patriot Nurse. I do not claim to be a professor extraordinaire of all things. Medicine is too specialized nowadays. I just kind of talk about what I know and experience. The treatment as far as hepatitis A right now, nothing really specific. It tends to be just food, good hydration, staying away from alcohol and fatty foods. And the reason for that is because the liver, which is attacked when you get hepatitis A, the liver needs to be given a rest period. And the liver is used when you drink alcohol or when you ingest fatty foods. And the liver's made to work harder when you eat those things and when you drink those things. So basically, give your liver a rest and give your body a rest and try and take it easy. Okay, and the next one here is cholera. Cholera was, oh gosh, you mentioned that in a crowded building and people would panic literally about 100 years ago. Cholera is highly contagious, and with the bacteria that cause cholera, they go into a heightened state of infectiousness, if you will, once they have acquired a host, meaning a person, okay? Cholera typically tends to exist naturally in brackish water that are colonized by zooplankton, different things. Basically bad water. Okay, you want to know where cholera comes from? Think bad water, okay? Bad water, contaminated water. And especially, I think what's going to happen is with poor sanitation, you're going to have people who are not adequately disposing of their waste, and it's going to get into water lines, okay? And that's really going to be a problem. Cholera, the way it kind of presents is you see just tons and tons and tons of diarrhea and horrible, horrible abdominal pain. The pain with cholera is just, I haven't had cholera, and there's just saying here. The pain associated with cholera is just, it's just devastating, and dehydration ensues because of the amount of diarrhea, and the pain really comes from the cramping of the bowels trying to get rid of all these toxins in the body that are produced by the bacteria that cause cholera. The treatment for cholera is constituted really by the following. Oral rehydration, meaning replenishing the water that the body has lost, and breast. You can make a pretty good solution of oral rehydration stuff with water, sugar, salt, and baking soda. The antibiotic treatment, right now, that seems to be kind of the focus of cholera treatment, is tetracycline, doxycycline, and really erythromycin as well. So that's that. Next one is typhoid. Typhoid, who remembers Typhoid Mary? Typhoid Mary, she basically infected a lot of people throughout her life as a cook, I think, or whatever she was. Typhoid is spread through the fecal-oral route, meaning that you ingest, like we said, you ingest the contaminated feces of somebody else one way or another, through drinking water as a result of poor sanitation, or through eating food that's been contaminated. So typhoid. Typhoid presents, it has a long lifespan as a disease when it's not really treated. Diarrhea, then fever. About a third of people get this rash across their chest. This one I'm given, by the way, this is a very generic summary, okay? I cannot go into the detail that I really want to because of the shortness of the segments here. Everything that I'm talking about, look it up on Wikipedia, do the research for yourself, okay? You want to know more about this, please look it up more, okay? I can't go into this type of detail that I'd really like to. So with typhoid, you got the fever, the diarrhea, rash on the chest. The treatment typically for typhoid has been oral rehydration, like we said, and there's a zillion different antibiotics you can use. Ampicillin, amoxicillin, Bactrim, Cipro, and really azithromycin or a Z-Pak is the trend right now as far as what has been working. And the last one here is all upper respiratory infections. And this is going to be just standard everything from whooping cough to influenza to go right down the list. Every possible upper respiratory infection that you can think of, it's going to explode. And your way to treat and prevent this is adequate nutrition, good ventilation, good sanitation, and really good water, okay? The water thing is going to be huge. So hopefully in this segment you maybe been given some more stuff to think about. Like I said, this was the briefest of summaries. I just wanted to get this information out to people, and please, I encourage you to look this stuff up for yourself and do an expanded amount of research. So for now, this is Patriot Nurse signing off, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.